What is a realistic point expectation for next year's Blackhawks? Our buddy JFresh has some ideas. We also have the top 10 rated Blackhawks in NHL 26, which comes out very soon. Join us next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Mario Tirabassi. Sean Anderson's here running the show. Since yesterday, he's learned the difference between Joe Sakic and Joe Sacco. And hopefully our audience has learned the difference between seriousness and sarcasm.
Hopefully. I haven't figured out. Was that my homework?
You really didn't know that? Yeah.
I didn't figure out the difference.
Well, either way.
One more 19. And the other one is Sacco.
The other one is Sacco. Yes, exactly. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We love to see you here. A lot of people Jesus Christ, participating in the chat already.
We're still live.
Do us a favor, hit the like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Good week for me so far. Man, we need hockey to get here. It's great that I'm burnt out at the end of summer, right when the season is about to begin.
Yeah. This is when you should be hitting your peak.
These are the peaks. The perks of a 5-day-a-week podcast, off-season or in-season, is you run out of the gas right before the season starts. Anyway, hit the like button, all that great stuff for us. Make sure you're subscribed. Do that. Bunch of stuff we want to tell you about. We've got a big guest announcement to give you. We're going to give it to you right now. Friday at 2 o'clock, Frank Nazar will be on the show celebrating his brand-new contract, and he insisted on coming on with us. Said, I'm not signing this deal unless within the first week I'm on with CHGO Blackhawks. It's in the contract, so we have to make it happen. So it's happening. Friday at 2, Frank Nazar will be with us. We're going to talk to Stephen Ellis of the Daily Faceoff tomorrow. He publishes prospects list as well, so lots of good stuff coming up. Today, JFresh, our buddy on Twitter, published his points predictions for this upcoming season. We're going to see where the Hawks rank in comparison to the rest of the league and where he had them last year, which is interesting. And right before the show started, we got the top 10 rated Blackhawks in NHL 26. So a lot to get to, but we're going to start with JFresh's list. Put it out today.
We do have a super chat as well.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad. We're
100%.
starting off hot.
We're not going to get derailed by a super chat. Yes, we are, if it's a lot of money.
Hey, they paid their money.
So JFresh, like I said, put out his predictions for this year. He's got the Hawks projected at 70.
What? Hold on.
What?
He just put out a small tweak to the projections.
Oh, my God. You know what?
He literally did 4 minutes ago. It
Okay.
says small tweak to the projection based on updated depth charts. We'll answer any questions on these projections, which I'll post the updated ones the day before the season, and hope, as every year, will be among the least incorrect ones.
Okay. Well,
the Blackhawks have had a catastrophic drop from 75 points to 74 points.
Show's over. Cancel the show.
It does drop them one spot in the overall NHL standings.
All right. 74 points. That is ahead of San Jose, projected at 70, but the vibes rating for them is very high.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Calgary, 72. This one surprises me. Anaheim at 73.
His model does not like the Ducks.
Does not. Then the Hawks at 74, and then right ahead of them, and I believe this is the team they just jumped over.
A flip.
Or jumped under, is the Philadelphia Flyers, who on the new projection have 77 points.
Yeah. So let's go off of that. So the Hawks finish fourth from the bottom. 74 points, though, is...
That's a big jump.
A 13-point jump from last season. And I think that is... I mean, that's significant. That's 6.5 more wins. That's a team likely to get to the 30-win plateau. If you're talking about, 30 wins is 60 points. add in 14 overtime or shootout losses.
Yeah.
And you get to 74. But, I mean, you'd be talking realistically at a base of about a 30-win team, maybe a couple more extra wins there. But I think, as we kind of look at how this season could go, the optimism that we have for it, I really do think that it's not out of the realm of possibility. And last season, too, we were talking about, this team could be in the 70s for point total, and they fell short of that, obviously. But I think when you look at the guys that are going to get the opportunity, we kind of went through it yesterday, like how the Forrest group will shake out and the defensive group will see, and Spencer Knight, first year as a full-time starter and first year under Jeff Blashill and the new coaching staff. I think the signs for positivity are there, and I don't think a 70-point season is out of the realm of possibility, even up to 74 or 75 points.
Yeah, I don't think that's far-fetched, because if we're just going by how they played the second half, not even the second half, like the last 10 games or whatever you want to call it, it looked like a different team. And I do think that coaching is going to play a big role this year. And I know we've been talking a lot about how we feel like Jeff Blashill is going to make a good impact on this team. And I don't want to oversell the fact. I'm not trying to convince anybody that Jeff Blashill is the second coming of Scotty Bowman or Joel Quenneville or whatever great coach you want to say, Al Arbor, for instance, right? I don't think that's the case. But I do think that he is obviously more experienced than Sorensen or Richardson. I think he's going to do a better job commanding the room than either of them did. You can just see by the way he carries himself, by the way he talks, with the confidence he speaks with. Yeah. He's going to inspire guy, and I'm not saying like, I'm going to run through a brick wall for Jeff Blashill, but he's got a voice and a personality that demands attention. I think as much as Luke Richardson had the resume of a long-time NHL warrior, really good player for a super long time, hugely respected, he was really soft-spoken and kind of wishy-washy, sort of talked low. Sorensen, funny, comic relief, players coach, all those things. He had expectations, too.
A good personality to mix with that group, yeah.
Yes. And I'm glad he's still with the Hawks. But Blashill has that head coachness that I think a lot of these guys, especially young guys, they kind of need. You need someone in your ear every now and again. And I think that and his experience and the staff he's brought in, which is also pretty experienced, is going to push this team up to a level that they probably, as we were looking at into last year, thought they would be last year. Right? Like they've got, I think it's fair to say that last year's Hawks team underachieved significantly.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. Which is weird because as we've talked about it all of, March and April and through this offseason, you say, yeah, they underachieved, but then you look at it and you're like, well, a lot of the guys kind of hit what they expected to be. I think a lot of what we think about as underachieving for last year's team came down to, and someone had the stat in the chat. You got it on the screen right now. Kevin says they blew 11 two-goal leads in the third period last year. I don't know if that's factually correct without looking it up.
It feels correct.
But it feels like, thinking back to how last season went, it felt like no lead was secure, and it felt like there were a lot of times where, Hawks had a lead, or they were game was close, and it was just like they just didn't have that extra gear to get them over the hump in a game, or there always felt like there's going to be some way that
something's going to go wrong
and might collapse.
Well, and just on the under expectations or under exceeding point, you brought up JFresh projected them for 84 last year.
I think it was 82 actually, but 82 last year. And I think as we were looking at last year's team with the additions of Bertuzzi and Teravainen, who, as you mentioned, Mario, played to the back of the hockey card, both of them.
Both of them.
They gave you exactly what you thought. Now, for both those guys, the consistency was an issue. They'd go long stretches of doing nothing.
Table's first 30 games, he had like 13 points.
Yeah.
And then his next 30 games after that, he had like 33.
Right. And then Bertuzzi would have like 12 points in 6 games, then not do anything for a month, and then get hot again. So that was not ideal. But after 82 games, when the smoke cleared, they're right where you thought they would be.
You also had the overachievement of Ryan Donato last season.
True. But we are also probably projecting more points-wise from Bedard last year than you were. I think that I don't want to say that Vlasic had a down year, but like the production wasn't there for him as much. The metrics don't look great for him, but again, context of drawing the toughest matchup every night on a bad team.
And it was 3/4 of the season that you had Seth Jones as your top defenseman playing all of those roles, and then eventually after the trade deadline, Vlasic got even more responsibility towards the end of the season.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think going into next year, he's your number one guy who's going to get the most minutes, who's going to get a lot of the responsibilities put on him. Also, goaltending last year was not what it was 2 seasons ago, where we were talking about Peter Mrazek, should be getting Vezina consideration for putting up a 907 save percentage on the 22-23 Blackhawks, or 23-24 rather. But to counter that, you had Arvid Soderblom play better than he did the year before. So it was just kind of like a lot of things. Good things were evened out by bad things, and bad things were evened out by unexpected good things. But you still kind of felt like there's some shortcomings. Comes with younger players still getting into the NHL, and I think too to bring it back to the coaching staff difference, I think just the ability to have a guy like Jeff Blashill, have someone like Mike Vellucci, Michael Pekka, like they have a lot of guys that have been around the block, guys that have names and played in the league, and especially with Blashill, he's been there he's been there as an assistant in the last couple of years. He was the head coach with Detroit. A lot of experience leading into that opportunity as well. Like it's a longer resume, especially at the NHL level, than Richardson or Sorensen ever had. So I think that can go into situational awareness and confidence in those situations, whereas maybe Richardson or Sorensen in their times might have gotten into situations or ran into things, even with traveling and practice and scheduling and everything like that, like how to figure it out at the NHL level, how to get the most out of your guys. Blashill's got more experience doing that than the last two guys, and I think that can make a big difference.
Well, and for all and I think it's important to remind people who maybe weren't paying so much attention that when Jeff Blashill was hired by Detroit, he was like the David Carl guy. He was the hot commodity. He was the up-and-comer. He was going to be the next great thing. And then Detroit goes out, full-out rebuilds, and obviously they don't have a lot of results, but he stayed there for 7 years. 7 years as their head coach on a team that bad, shows you that they were pretty happy with the way things were going behind the scenes. Then he goes and learns from John Cooper for 3 years, which I don't think we can undersell. So, look, again, I don't think that Jeff Blashill is suddenly going to make this team a playoff team, but in those situations you're referring to, Mario, where they're up 2 going into the third period, and then they give up 1, and everybody knows that it's a matter of time until that lead is blown because the coach doesn't have an answer. He doesn't know what to say to the players to shake them out of it. They don't know how to adjust accordingly. The players maybe don't believe in what they're being coached necessarily. I think Blashill is going to be the kind of guy, and Vellucci and Pekka, that are going to say, look, timeout. This is not happening again. This is not happening for the 11th time this year. Right. Let's tighten things up. I have full confidence that they are going to be a competent coaching staff. And it sounds like we're just ripping on Richardson and Sorensen, and I don't think we're doing that. I think that they were reasonable ideas for where the team was at the time. But now you've got this team ready to take the next step in the rebuild, really the first step in the rebuild, where you've got a significant number of young, meaningful players on the roster this year. Mm-hmm. You got to get serious now with the coaching staff. And I think Blashill, although it wasn't the sexiest pick and wasn't everyone's top pick, I think it's going to make a decent difference in wins and losses this year, especially those late game blown opportunities. We're going to continue this conversation in 2 minutes. If you've not done it yet, please hit that like button. Every time you hit the like button, the Hawks pick up another point in the standings. So make sure you do that. Make sure you are also subscribed to the YouTube page. Takes 1 second to hit that like button, and it helps us out big time. Stick around. We'll be back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks.
Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way that it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. You can bet on all of your favorite teams in every game this season, whether it's spreads, props, futures, in-game, or more. Circa Sports has it all. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. We are just a few days away from the big opening of college football.
Let's go.
Week 0 has come and gone, but week 1 is approaching. Who do you like?
Irish.
Wisconsin for the first 2 games of the year.
Bears.
Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Of course, you must be 21 or older. And if you have a gambling problem, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And I've been driving around the city all day, and I see all these people outside thinking it's cold out. It's 75 degrees. It's hot. The AC's on in the car. I'm looking at you, Sean Anderson, in your hoodie. Don't be fooled by false autumn. This is not autumn. It's hot out. And Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, Electric, they've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years, and they can help you get your AC checked out right now. Their experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair because it's not cooling off for a while. Don't be fooled. Their expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service, and Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, and holidays, which is inevitably when things go wrong with your things. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee. Your local trusted experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. Don't be fooled. It's still summer. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
Don't be fooled.
And speaking of Four Seasons, Taking the Temp is presented by your local trusted experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. A lot of point totals rolling around in the chat. The Unidoctrinator, I think I said that right, says somewhere between 75 and 78.
The Unindoctrinator.
Unindoctrinator. All right, that's hard to say.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Somebody on Twitter said there'll be 3 points better, as the Nazar of Chicago said 3 points better. So
64.
All over the map. I think it's going to be better than that. I hope it's better than that.
I hope so.
I'll say this now. If it's like in the 60-point range, I've got concerns. I've got some concerns. This team has to be, I think significantly better is kind of too vague.
What if they...
So they got to be in the 70s. They have to be in the 70s.
With... So they had 25 wins last year, right?
Yeah.
What if they end with 30, 31 wins, but it's 68, 69 points? Nice.
I mean...
Like, if you get more wins out of the season, but it's not up to that 70-point benchmark.
I mean... I'm not going to...
Because that's an improvement.
Yeah, I'm not going to nitpick over 69 points or 70 points. It would be nice with 69.
JFresh had him as the 4th worst team in hockey.
Yeah.
Chadwick Berry says a bottom 4 pick is key in this draft, getting Connor a high-end winger whose names I'm not going to read.
McKenna, Ryan Rubrek, Ethan Bell. There you go. Ethan
I
Belchats, I believe.
think it's Ethan.
We'll make the foundation of this young core special. Is that fair, or I mean, do you not care about draft position after?
You can still get that without finishing. You can move up in the draft lottery. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's a lottery. So you're not. It doesn't guarantee you that spot if you finish. I mean, it helps. It gives you a better
doesn't
percentage.
make the playoffs is technically in the lottery. Your
Right.
chances are higher the further down the standings you are. But yes, you can say two things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
Landing in the bottom 5 and getting that top pick helps the rebuild. Yes. This rebuild is not hinging on them getting one more top 5 pick. It helps them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It is not make or break that they need one more top 5 pick to completely complete the whole thing.
Right.
Because you have a lot. You have a lot in the system, and it's because you've picked so many times in the top 3, in the first round, in the first 2 rounds. Like, they have a lot of young guys that have come through that are in the system that as you project out the next 5 years, you look at who could make up this lineup, a lot of it is based off of draft picks.
Yeah.
And, yes, you're going to add another 2 first-round picks in next year's draft. One of them could be in the top 5 with your own pick, and they own Florida's 2026, right? They still have that one?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember.
No, that's
all
right.
these first-round picks that they've had. But, I mean, we still got to find out what guys like Anton Frondel and Sasha Boisvert could become at the professional level. They're not there yet.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
AJ
are...
Spellecy is another guy that's like eventually will get to the professional level and see what they are, and it doesn't have to hinge on, well, you only can build through top 5 picks.
Like, elite is not out of the question for Frondel. I think a lot of people are like,
No,
he was a
of course
safe
not.
pick, and he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be like a 50-goal, 100-point offensive dynamo. But if you're getting point per game play or slightly under from him, if he's got like, he won't be Jonathan Taves. I'm just saying statistically, in the 70s, providing solid 2-way play, and you've got him, and Bedard hits what you think he's going to hit, Nazar hits what you think he's going to hit, and then Boisvert becomes the guy.
Right.
Like, I think people are already ignoring Frondel, which is weird.
Well, it's just because he's not here. I think a lot of people, he's not in Chicago or he's not in North America. The visibility is different. But I'll have to go back and try and look this up and correct myself if I'm incorrect here. But I believe it is tomorrow's guest, Stephen Ellis, who made the pre-draft comparison of Anton Frondel to a player type, that of Marian Hossa.
Yeah. And he's been called the next Barkov.
Yeah.
And Frondel said, yes, I would like to be that. Thank you. And I think I can be that. Thank you. So, I mean, look, you're picked 3rd overall. I don't think you're going to be a passenger. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
No. You
Jonathan
really
Taves was picked 3rd overall. That worked out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So was Cam Barker. We won't talk about that. I just don't want people to dismiss Frondel because, oh, well, I really wanted Misa, or I really wanted Schaefer, or like maybe James Higgins was a little flashier, or you really liked our interview with Porter Martone, whatever it might be. Frondel is a really solid prospect and is going to be a really good player for this team. We don't know how good any of them are going to be, but I think
Stephen Ellis. It was Johnny Oduya.
Oh, Oduya called him Hossa.
Yeah. He says, in many ways, Anton has a lot of characteristics Marian Hossa had.
Honestly,
So that's where I got it.
I would take Johnny Oduya's opinion. Nothing against Stephen Ellis. Johnny Oduya played with Marian Hossa.
He sure did.
And I don't think that's something that he would take or say lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So you heard it here first, folks. Actually, second, because Johnny Oduya said it first.
Yeah, in a Ben Pope article.
Anton Frondel, next Marian Hossa, confirmed. Sounds great.
I'll take it. Well, and people too have said, like you mentioned, the Alexander Barkov kind of comparison. Other people have said, well, he's probably going to be maybe closer to Anton Lundell. Okay,
great.
that's also good.
Yes, I'll take
like
that.
if you're between those two guys on the Panthers, wonderful. Like, I think that's a great landing spot for a guy like that. And he could be the Hawks' number 2 center. Or he could be a wing alongside Connor Bedard. Or he could play with Frank Nazar. Or, get this, you could put all 3 on a line at some point in the future.
Damn. That'd be fun.
Like, I think that's definitely a guy that I think you look at and you say, and it's, I think there's a high likelihood we see him by March. Late March and April of this season upcoming. So, yeah, I again, going back to it, getting another top 5 pick, of course, helps your prospect system, helps your future. But the rebuild is not make or break on you have to get one more. It's not the scene in Ocean's 11 with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. You think we need one more? Okay, we'll get one more. The Blackhawks don't necessarily need one more, but they will take one more if they need.
And even if it's a top 10 pick, it's going to be someone that's going to help the franchise significantly, you would think. So the thing you mentioned, though, of Frondell potentially joining in March, you also have the potential for a lot of guys to be moved out then, too, because you've got Lafferty's a UFA, McCabe's a UFA, Dickinson's UFA, Foligno's a UFA, Connor Murphy's a UFA. Any number of those guys could be moved at the deadline. You also have Reichel, who's an RFA, Colton Dock's an RFA. So the team might look different then. And maybe if you are on that pace to hit 75 points, but you say, hey, look, like, we're obviously not going to make the playoffs here. Let's sell some of these veterans off. Maybe let's say they trade Murphy and Dickinson and you bring in Frondell and Boisvert. It's more exciting to watch.
You'd also bring up a defenseman too.
Yeah, sure. But there will be some growing pains there. And someone mentioned that in the chat too. So
yeah, of course.
I think it's also something we have to factor in early in the season as the team adjusts to what Jeff Blashill's doing. So I'm interested to see how Blashill's going to handle the preseason, because I know you want to get a look at guys, but there's a lot of prospects that are high in the system that aren't going to be at training camp because they're in college, they're in high school playing football, they're overseas.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of the guys that would be really tempting to give a good look at aren't going to be here. So I wonder if they're going to play the vets a little more. And maybe there's a lesson learned from Kyle Davidson about, boy, last year the preseason was ass, and it carried right into the regular season immediately. So maybe there's going to be a little more emphasis on the guys they expect to make the team in the preseason. Now, I think you're going to see, at the same time, the defensive competition, Del Mastro versus Allen versus Kaiser versus Crevier versus et cetera. And you're going to see the Oliver Moore versus Nick Lardis versus Landon Slager versus Colton Dock sort of thing. But for the most part, I wonder if he's going to play more of what he sees as the set lineup in the preseason to get these guys used to the system. Or if that's not the case, maybe a lot more scrimmaging during training camp.
Yeah, I mean,
which I'm here for.
Yeah, it's a completely different, completely different coaching staff other than Andrew Sorensen to start things off. And yeah, I think that could be something. Just like a lot of these guys now carry over year over year.
Yeah.
Whereas there were a lot of new faces to start last season. So I think maybe giving them the opportunity of let's try some line combinations, let's try some defensive pairs, and let that build in the preseason so you more or less hit the ground running once the regular season starts, and you got the frickin' Florida Panthers right off the bat, so you better hit the ground running.
They're going to sleep on the Hawks.
Yeah, sure. They're still going to be hungover.
Hey, that's a possibility.
But yeah, give that some time through the preseason, and don't use the preseason as like, let's tinker every lineup, every roster, different combinations. That like give those line combinations some pairings that you think are going to work well. Give them some time to work out in practice, and then run through the preseason. And then if they don't work, okay, well, at least you learned what didn't work. But if they do, then you have something that you can build on through the last, game or two of the preseason and into the regular season, and go from there. Like, you don't have to have things set in stone, but having a better idea of who's going to work with whom, and go forward from there rather than just kind of blending things together as you go.
So looking at I'm just thinking ahead to training camp here, and maybe we should do this on the other side of the break, and we will. But aside from the guys we think have realistic shots at making a team, who are going to be the guys that need to look in the preseason? Let's talk about that next. Before we hit the break zone, though, we want to tell you about our great Die Hard sale going on right now at ALLCITY.com. We have just introduced the tailgate tier of Die Hard membership. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. For $89.99 a year, you're going to get everything that comes with the CHGO Die Hard membership. So the free t-shirt right off the bat, 20% off all merch beyond that, 20% off all of our takeovers. That includes Hawks takeovers, watch parties, everything we do that requires a ticket. You're saving 20% on it. And again, 20% off all the merch down the road. This tier also includes 2 Bears tailgate tickets to the game of your choice. That's $140 value. So if you are going to a tailgate this year for one of our CHGO Bears tailgates, which are awesome, that's $140 that you're saving by joining this membership. So it's a no-brainer if you are planning on going anyway. And what's cool, if you're an existing diehard, you can just upgrade your tier. You don't have to go the full $89.99. You can add on to the current tier you're on and add the tailgate package. So that's great. If you're not interested in the Bears tailgates, maybe you're out of town, maybe you hate the Bears, maybe you don't like Greg Braggs, couldn't possibly understand that. Great dude. But hey, do you? There's a $59.99 deal going on as well. So you can get the whole year membership of CHGO Diehardness for $59.99. That includes all the stuff I mentioned, free shirt, 20% off, etc. So 2 great deals happening right now. Go to allchgo.com/join to sign up. You can scan that QR code that was just on your screen. Like 2 seconds ago. You just hit rewind. That's back. The QR code is back. Good job, Sean. So join us. Be a diehard, and you're going to get access to all of our great written content, our Diehards Only Discord, which will give you priority on Mailbag Monday. Great stuff. Totally worth it. Great deal. Take advantage of these 2 wonderful deals we've got going on at allchgo.com. All right. Back in 2 minutes, we're going to continue this conversation, then get to the top 10 Blackhawks in NHL 26. Coming up next on CHGO Blackhawks.
New vehicles are in store at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And this is your chance to score a great deal at their Labor Day sales event. Head to Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams vehicles. And right now you can get up to $15,000 off MSRP or get 0% financing for 72 months on the new 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S. Plus, you can shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. The team at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And with Ray's price promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. Don't miss out on the Labor Day sales event going on right now for huge savings on the Jeep Wagoneer S. For more information, visit raycdjr.com or visit Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. They've been serving the community since 1963.
And I am a proud resident of Cook County. I live in Homewood, Illinois. I love being in Cook County because my roads are plowed. My streets are generally drivable. I get everything I need. But you know what? Property taxes are high, and it's something far too many Cook County residents are dealing with. But you don't have to be one of them. Check out our friends at Own Well. Paying property tax is very complicated. I was a first-time home buyer. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, this is what the house costs. I divide that by 30, and I divide that by 12, and that's what I'm going to pay. Not the case. Property tax is tough, so check out Own Well in Cook County. Own Well has a 25% contingent fee, meaning you only pay if your property taxes are reduced. 86% of Own Well's customers receive a reduction, and they handle everything from start to finish and deliver top results with an average savings of $1,102. Save money on your Cook County property taxes with Own Well. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your appeal today at ownwell.com/cook. That's OWNWELL.com/cook. All right, welcome back. Do us a favor. If you've not done it yet, please hit that like button for us. That helps us out big time. Hit the subscribe button while you're here. And if you're on the podcast, take a few seconds to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'd appreciate that. Before the break, we were talking about guys who are going to need looks in the preseason. I already mentioned Lardis. I mentioned Spellacy, Oliver Moore, Landon Slaggert. And on defense, you've got, Levshinov and Renzel and Del Mastro and Allen. And we got a lot of spaces open for even more guys. So those would be the competitions we have to see. Who are we forgetting? Who are guys, Mario, in your mind, that are going to get extended looks here during training camp to make the team?
I think one of the guys that I'm interested to see how much time they give in NHL lineups is Samuel Savoie, because I think this is an opportunity to have a player who plays relentless, who has an ability to, be pesty, be a guy that can be like on the fourth line, play with some speed, play with some confidence, and have that edge. I think that's a guy that I would like to see get some extended time in the preseason. It's a log jam. It's an uphill battle for a guy like him. But I think this would be a good opportunity for him to kind of get a little bit more of that runway and see what happens. See what happens in the preseason. He's a guy that is kind of in that range with like Colton Dock and Landon Slaggert and, you know, that fourth line, bottom six group of players that are going to land in that space. What are they going to be? Like, what can you be against NHL competition? So it'd be interesting to see how much they give to him in that rotation of guys during the preseason.
Everyone knows I have a big soft spot for Samuel Savoie. And I know we always get kind of caught in the trap of comparing him to Andrew Shaw because of the body size, because of the way they play. But one thing about Shaw that was interesting to me was his numbers didn't really change from the AHL to the NHL. He just kind of was put out the same numbers at both levels. Mm-hmm. And while Savoie's not a guy that scores a lot, last year with Rockford in 72 games, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points. But if you could put a guy like that provides a little bit of that jam, a little bit of that nasty that you don't really have on the roster right now, I think a lot of people imagine that Tyler Bertuzzi is that guy. He's really not. Tyler Bertuzzi he plays hard in front of the net. He'll go to the physical areas, but he's not a guy who's going to really drop the gloves or play over the line or on that line even. Mm-hmm. Doesn't get a ton of penalty minutes. You kind of need a guy who's going to be in there, and let's be honest, like, as meatbally as it might sound, hockey players think that way. Like, they need that guy who's going to be in there mixing it up, standing up for teammates, finishing checks when momentum is going the other way, to turn momentum with either a fight or a hit or whatever it might be. I want to see him get a look. Mm-hmm. I think he's got that nasty. I think he's got that enough ability to stay at the NHL level. They're not asking him to play in the top 6, probably not even the top 9. But if you can give him 11 minutes a game to go out there and stir things up and make a difference and answer the bell when it needs to be answered one way or the other, I don't know who else in the organization you have that can do that. I think Colton Dock is also a candidate.
Definitely. Bigger,
more skilled. But until I see two things from Dock, obviously the injuries, he's got to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And if you're not available, you're useless to the organization. And I got to see consistency from him. I don't feel like Colton Dock is equally engaged every time he plays. And, of course, every player in the league is going to have a night or two during the course of a month where they're not at their best, right? They're human beings. Those things happen. But I see way too much of a roller coaster with Colton Dock. If he can solidify his consistency, where 9 out of 10 games, you know what you're getting from him, talk about a thing they don't have, a big, skilled power forward type. Mm-hmm. He checks that box big time, and he could be a huge piece of this thing. Yeah. But to me, it's up to him. He's got to go out and grab it. And we saw, was it before, what was the camp where he hurt his shoulder?
That was
it 2 camps ago?
That was going into his rookie year, I think.
Yeah, and he came out in that camp like just kicking ass. Mm-hmm. He was flying and hitting and scoring, and then he gets hurt, and then came up last year, had a handful of games, looked okay. I'm not taking anything away from him, but, man, I just feel like there's so much unlocked potential with all the Docs, really, but especially with Colton.
Yeah, I mean, his rookie season, he ended up only playing 48 games, all with the Ice Hogs, but he had 11 goals, 27 points. Then this past year, in 33 games in different stints with the Ice Hogs, 12 goals, 26 points in 33 games. He had 2 goals and 7 points in 25 games at the NHL level. But yeah, it's that consistency and being healthy, being available to be in the lineup. Like that's a big thing, and he's heard it. He knows it. It's not a surprise to him if you say like, oh well, some injuries. Well, yeah, he knows. But he's a guy that I think has that like kind of chip on his shoulder of wanting to prove that he can be that kind of player and be able to hang in the NHL and play a role with this team. Still very young.
Only 21.
And at
22. Sorry.
I really feel like he's not really a guy that I feel like is like you said. It's really up to him. I don't feel like there's many players in front of him for the role that he can play that are blocking him from being in the NHL. I think it's just, can he do it? Can he do it consistently and prove that he's a guy that can play those minutes and be effective in it? I think he will get to that point. He just has to have more time on the ice to show it.
Two more names that we haven't really talked about too much. Ryan Green had a stint at the end of the season last year, and Aiden Thompson.
Yeah.
So those are two guys that I think are going to be vying for a bottom 6 spot on this team. And
Don't count out Ryan Green.
I don't think so either.
I think the organization really likes him, and he just kind of has flown under the radar. Was a really solid player in college with Boston University. Was one of their go-to guys down the stretch last season, and I don't be surprised if he's in that mix to play in the bottom 6 to begin the season. Be really interested to see who he plays alongside with once preseason starts. But I mean, I think he's a guy that has those tools that you look for in what can be a really good prototypical like middle 6 center. Like he's got good size. He has good dedication at the defensive side of things. He put up some good production in the NCAA. How will that translate to the NHL is still remains to be seen. But don't count him out for a guy that could be a little bit more of a all-around utility kind of player. And again, still very young. Like just I think he only played 2 games last year.
Yeah.
The last 2 games of the season. So he'll be one to see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if, not to say he's going to be like the third line center, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a way into the bottom 6, maybe as a center or a wing.
Yeah.
And
there's just
see how they
with the addition of Lafferty,
fill it
there's
out.
just not a ton of spots. Like he's here, he's going to play. Sam Lafferty's going to play. I mean, I know
to
he's
start the year.
I think so. Yeah.
To
But
start,
I mean,
like having Sam Lafferty, I think is a good buffer. If you start the season with him playing because some young guys are not necessarily ready to go right at the beginning of the year, that's fine. But if you get an Oliver Moore or a Doc or a Green or Savoie, whoever all these guys are talking about, that maybe they start the season in Rockford and then move themselves up. Sam Lafferty is an easy guy to just scratch, because is it that pearl clutching worthy to scratch Sam Lafferty on this team? I don't think so.
Not to me.
Not at this point. Sam Lafferty 2 seasons ago, when he endeared himself to this organization and the fan base, yeah, you'd be like, no, he's a guy that you play every day. Now, I don't think he's that same guy. If he is, if he turns things around from what he was in Buffalo last year, then great. Sure, then you have a guy that you move up your lineup, and then there's someone else that you can scratch. But I think if he's the same guy he was last season in Buffalo here, that's an easy one that you can just be like, all right, you're sitting. Let's get the kids in here. I think that's an easy move.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Nothing against him, but like I'm ready to see some kids that they're ready. I had a couple injuries last year, lower body in November, and then a groin injury in March. He played 60 games with Buffalo. I'm not sure how many of those were healthy scratches or injuries, but we'll see. I really don't think that they're too worried about him, but a guy like Ryan Green has to look at Sam Lafferty and be like, well, maybe I'm starting in Rockford.
Maybe. Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, fine. Good. Get ready. It worked for Frank Nazar.
Mm-hmm.
Rockford did him well.
Right.
It worked well for Alex Vlasic. So there's nothing wrong with that, for sure. All right, let's get to the top 10 rated Blackhawks in NHL 26. Game comes out, I think, September 12th for everybody. If you get the early access, it's September 5th. So not a ton of surprises here in terms of the names, but to me the order was a bit surprising.
Yep. Leading the way, Connor Bedard at 88 overall, followed by 3 players rated 84 overall. That's Alex Vlasic, Ryan Donato, and Teuvo Teravainen. 5th and 6th on the team at 83 overall, Connor Murphy and Spencer Knight. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, all at 82 overall, Frank Nazar, Jason Dickinson, Nick Foligno, and Tyler Bertuzzi.
I'm surprised. Connor Murphy at 83, it feels fair, but I don't know if I would have him. I don't know if I have him on the same tier as Spencer Knight in terms of, I don't know.
Well, Spencer Knight's 0 acceleration rating
That's hurt him
doesn't
a little
help
bit,
him.
Yeah. His wrist shot 0, slap
Zero
shot
power.
0,
Yeah,
deking
yeah.
0. All those other stats must be super high.
Yeah.
They actually do, if you click on the player, they do have every individual
Full breakdown.
thing broken down. And let's see. His just for funsies.
For Spencer Knight.
5-hole 86, glove side high 83, glove side low 88, poke check 88, rebound control 87, Stick side high 86, stick side low 88, vision 89. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's, I mean, again,
Seems right.
it seems right. Now, the NHL video game series is using the NHL Edge analytical data this year, Edge 2.0 or whatever they're calling it,
Allegedly.
to try and still like dynamically gauge all of these ratings and feeling them out properly with some data to back it up, rather than just, developers saying, well, I think this player is good, so they get a 90.
Yeah.
Trying to use some data behind it. There's a lot of 88s in the league. There's a lot of 88 overalls, Bedard being one of them. But yeah, I mean, I think Murphy at 83, I feel like he statistically for the game as a defensive defenseman is like fine. And I think a fine defensive defenseman comes out to like the low 80s. I don't think that's too crazy, especially for a guy at this stage in his career. What is interesting to me is Alex Vlasic is tied for second, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
At 84 overall. And to me, that feels like a tick low.
I think so too.
Like 84 overall, highest rated defenseman on the team to start the season, sure. But I think as the season goes on, I would think that we're going to see these ratings take some adjusting.
Yeah. They also have X Factor ratings on guys. Connor Bedard has the ankle breaker and quick release X Factors.
Okay.
I want to see what Frank Nazar has in terms of those. He's got the tape to tape.
Okay.
Which is feather saucer passes and make snappy passes in and out of vision with increased pass power and accuracy.
That's good.
And wheels turns on the jets and blows past opponents after hitting top speed with increased speed and acceleration. That sounds right.
That sounds right until you look at the skill ratings, and they have Bedard at a 91 acceleration and his speed is an 88, and Frank Nazar's acceleration is an 89 and his speed is 88. If we put Frank Nazar and Connor Bedard in a skating competition, speed and agility and all that stuff, I think you'd give the edge to Frank Nazar.
I would think so, but I wonder if you were to do it like you said, they're using these edge stats, so who knows? Maybe Bedard has more bursts. I don't know. It's
to me that is one of those things where I'm like, is it narrative driven or is it statistically driven?
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Let's see, top skating speed.
I think we all hope that Connor Bedard has these statistical ratings in real life this season. We've been talking about it all last year, how he needed to add a step. So maybe the game thinks he's added a step. That would be nice.
So the top skating speed for Bedard, 21.44 miles per hour. Speed burst over 20 miles per hour. He had 70.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, it's pretty good. Now I got to see where Nazar's at. Let's say 21.44 for Bedard. Let's see.
21.4, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got to think that Frank Nazar had a higher top speed than
23.07 for Nazar. 146 speed bursts over 20 miles an hour. That's the 85th percentile for speed burst, 86 for speed.
For Nazar.
So yeah, that's much faster than Bedard.
A lot faster.
Yeah. And also in fewer games, 146 bursts over 20 miles per hour versus Bedard's 70. Games.
Yeah. I mean, different stylistic players.
Yeah.
But I think you look at it and you say, even eyeball test would tell you that Frank Nazar's a faster
I think so too, yeah.
Bedard.
It's interesting.
We'll
see. They probably also, when they run these numbers, they're probably like, this rating seems a little low for this player, so we need to make them a little more effective. So let's bump up the speed a little bit. Let's do this or that to make them feel a little more.
Yeah, you want your best guy. You want the guys that you know are the best on the team to feel like the best on the team.
I feel like that's always been the hardest thing with video games is to make stars feel like stars.
Right. Well,
without just having them be fast.
A couple versions ago, they did that. I forget who it was, but someone did a video of like the skating and the stick handling on the video game, and they had like Patrick Kane next to like I think it might have been John Scott, and it was like the stick handling was like the same speed, and like the skating was barely different. And it was just like, okay, like you shouldn't be able to control
Yeah.
guys that are like John Scott or Zdeno Chara and have them keep up with Patrick Kane.
I will say,
in
I
those
feel
ways.
like 25 did a pretty good job of, like, if I was to play like a full playoff or a full season, that the leading scorers are who they're supposed to be,
Sure. Yeah.
and they feel like the best players in the game. And it's not just based on speed, because I think a lot of the guys, I will say, I think 25 did a good job where Bedard is real fast, but he's knocked off the puck kind of easily.
Sure.
Whereas, Foligno can take a hit or two and keep the puck. They've kind of done a pretty good job of getting there. I don't think they're fully there yet, but I think they're getting there. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I got to play the beta test a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not supposed to talk about it. But
They're going to come after you.
But the gameplay itself was different. Like, it felt a lot. The players felt like they had more weight to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like the stop and start was a little more, I say sluggish, but not in a negative way, where a player can't just like turn on a dime like it's Tecmo Bowl.
More realistic.
There is more feeling that your
Yeah.
body momentum is changing, and the faster players were better at it. And I thought the goalies were a ton better, like post to post and reacting and making big saves. I know that's one of the things that they've been pumping up in terms of this year's version. So we will have Cam no sleeves on
soon.
probably next week, I would think, ahead of the early release. Cam is a streamer and is like on, I don't know what you call it, like he's an NHL influencer, NHL partner.
Yeah.
But what I love about Cam
Creator.
versus some of the other ones is he's always honest about it. If he thinks the game sucks or it's lost its steam or it needs to be improved, he'll say so. So we've had him on in the last couple of years, and people really seem to like it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I still play the hell out of it. It's
Yeah.
not perfect, but I love it.
I think for, they've hooked me in with the Be a Pro. I'm interested to see how different it seems and feels. That's the mode that I would say I've wanted to see an overhaul the most over the last few years. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. But this season, this version of the game will be fun to go into Dynasty mode with the Hawks because, as it mirrors real life, this is the most rebuild like assets that we've had with the Blackhawks be available to the Blackhawks and the Ice Hogs in the video game and in real life. So like, doing like, oh, we're doing the rebuild 2 years ago, it would have been like, okay, well, we just have Bedard. He's the only one that's here.
Right.
But now it's just like, okay, the rebuild is here. You can control Bedard, Vlasic, and Nazar, and Oliver Moore's in the game, and Levshinov, and Renzel will be in the game. Like all these guys that now have played with the Ice Hogs or have been added to the game, and you can get Frondell because he's playing in the SHL. He's there. He's available as well. Like, it'll be it'll have the most of those young players to kind of work with. So like doing a franchise mode with this team will be a lot more fun.
I think so. I haven't really done the offline stuff lately for whatever reason. Maybe I'll get into it a little more this year. I especially if they've improved it even a little bit.
What do you predict Bedard's final overall will be when they do the final roster update in May or whenever?
I'm gonna say 91.
91. Ooh, that's a big
I'd like
jump.
I'd like to see last year's end ratings. I wonder if you could find that.
I think he was 86.
I don't know.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, 91 would be nice. That would mean he's had a great season. I would definitely take that. I'm going to say by the end of the year, Bedard will at least be a 90.
Okay.
I'm going to say Vlasic moves up 2 ratings points. I say he
86?
finishes the year as an 86.
That feels about right.
Yeah.
That feels right.
Well, what about Nazar? He starts the year as an 82. What's he finish as?
85.
85. I'm going to say 86.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to say he's going to have a big year, and they're going to highlight his statistical improvement as the year goes on. Who's going to have the biggest fall from the top 10?
Oh man. Connor Murphy.
Bedard was an 88 last year as well.
To start?
I think so.
Oh really?
Was he?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So a flat rating.
Well,
He also had kind of a flat, quote unquote, flat season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was from last year. Yeah.
Interesting.
as far as point total and everything goes.
Yeah.
So okay, sure.
All right, we have a super chat we got to get to before we wrap up.
My furthest faller, and this is no disrespect to him, friend of the program. I'm sure he's listening live right now.
100%. Hi, Nick.
Nick Foligno, starting the year as an 82. I think he will finish the season probably like a 78.
I think 79 is like the line of disrespect.
Yeah.
So once you fall under a 79, you're like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
I'm interested, by the way, Burakovsky not in the top 10, which I thought was interesting.
No, he's not. Yeah. But, I mean...
He's good in the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably like an 82, and they only could put 10 guys
maybe
on there. So.
All right, let's get the super chat before we go. Daniel, $10. Thank you, Daniel. Says, if you both put your GM hats on, would you be making calls to Anaheim on McTavish or Calgary on Zary to acquire another top 6 forward for the season, or would you stay put with the current forward group? I'm probably right now staying put because I'm not trading. I think both those guys will probably require a first-round pick to get, and I don't know how appealing the mystery Florida Panthers pick is, and I'm not trading the Hawks' first-round pick this year because they're going to have an opportunity at Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up their own first round pick this year. Definitely hold on to that because it can be a shot at Gavin McKenna. But if I am Kyle Davidson, GM, in his brain, no, I don't think I'd be calling around because I think he is very steadfast in his vision and his guys. So I think that's why he's pretty content with going into the preseason and into training camp with the group he has. But if it were me, Mario GM, sure, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that he at least like picked it up and said like, "Are you thinking about this? And what would it take?" I think that's kind of the GM's job.
You gauge the temperature
because they're like, "We really love Lucas Reichel." Well, guess what? I have good news for you. We will make that trade.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that those teams know the value they have in those players, and I think it's going to cost a boatload to get them. I think we're this close to the season, 41 days away from the Hawks opening game. Those teams know what they have in those guys, and they're not just going to give them away for nothing. Yeah. And I think both teams, Anaheim and Calgary, have illusions that they might be okay this year. Anaheim, I think, probably legitimately so.
JFresh doesn't believe so.
I'm not so sold on Calgary. But I don't think that Anaheim is looking to get worse or set the rebuild back.
No.
So if they're going to I could see those guys traded for each other if you're at a real stalemate contract-wise, and I don't know. But, like, I don't think that Anaheim especially is interested in picks and prospects for McTavish.
No, I don't think either of those teams get better by trading those players.
No.
But if I'm a GM, I'm calling them and saying, well, you're having some troubles. I'm willing to help you. If you think that there's a way to improve your team without this player, I'm willing to consider that conversation. Yeah. And Zary and McTavish, like you said, like short of giving up the Hawks' own first overall pick, I'm open on that kind of conversation because those are guys that have been in the NHL, are young,
proven,
play a position that the Blackhawks could use some more young, proven players at in the center position, and fit the timeline.
Mason McTavish is 22. He's 6'1", 219, had 52 points in 76 games last year. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes for the Hawks. I'd be down with that big time, but it's going to take a boatload to get him. And I would almost feel like if you're going to see him or Zary dealt, maybe it's a contender that's in cap trouble and moves out like a bigger piece, someone maybe a little older to help the Ducks get over the hump and make them better immediately. And then that team gets a young player in McTavish that they can have for the next 7 to 10 years. You know, so I don't know. I'm making a call just to find out, but I'm not willing to give up the Hawks' first round pick this year, really for anything, short of Macklin Celebrini, Connor McDavid, like you know what I mean. Like it's just not going to happen. So, all right, we're going to wrap things up. We're back tomorrow at 2. Stephen Ellis from the Daily Faceoff is going to join us. And don't forget, set a reminder, Frank Nazar will be with us Friday at 2 o'clock.
We also have a guest lined up for next Thursday.
We do, in studio.
We will announce that next week.
Yes. So lots of good stuff coming on. The season is upon us. Training camp will be here before you know it. We are almost at the finish line of this offseason. So we're glad you're with us now. Stick with us until the games begin. Hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you're subscribed while you're there. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.